You're comparing two desert cities, both affordable, both sunny, both on every retirement listicle you've read in the past 6 months. But I'm going to tell you something those articles won't. They are not the same retirement. I'm Elaine Lucchini. I've lived in Las Cruces for over 35 years, and today I'm giving you the honest side-by-side breakdown you actually need. And stay through to the tax segment. That one surprised me, and it might completely flip your decision. Okay, both Las Cruces and Tucson keep showing up on affordable retirement lists, and for a good reason. They both have warm climates, desert scenery, and lower housing costs than coastal cities, and a slower pace of life altogether. They're also both easy drives from major metros. But here's where it gets interesting. They are in different states with different tax structures, different healthcare ecosystems, and different cultures, and honestly, a very different vibe. What works for one type of retiree might be dead wrong for another, so let's go through this head to head. Round one. Let's start with the heaviest hitter, your housing budget. If you are selling a home in California, the Pacific Northwest, or the Midwest, you're looking to maximize your equity. Tucson is a major metro area of about 1 million people in the greater county. Because of that size and steady demand, the average home price in Tucson has climbed to about $530,000. Las Cruces, on the other hand, gives you that exact same high desert backdrop, but with an average listing price sitting closer to $465,000. So what you get in Tucson for $530,000, you're going to get closer to $460,000 here in Las Cruces. The 2026 takeaway is realistically, you are looking at a 12 to 13% discount on real estate just by crossing the state line into New Mexico. But it's not just the purchase price overall. The everyday cost of living in Las Cruces runs about 7 to 9% cheaper than Tucson. Your grocery bills are slightly lower, and because Las Cruces sits at a slightly higher elevation, we're about 3,900 feet compared to Tucson at 2,400, your summer utility bills to cool your home are roughly 20% lower. If you want your retirement nest egg to stretch out further, Las Cruces takes round one. Now, Tucson isn't expensive, don't get me wrong, but Las Cruces is cheaper. And if you're coming from California, either one is going to feel like a relief. The question is which relief you can live with long term. Round two, taxes, which is the one that surprises people. The winner depends on your income mix, honestly. Okay, this is a segment I told you to stay for because on paper, New Mexico and Arizona both look reasonable for retirees, but the details are very different. Now let's talk the taxes because this is where a lot of retirees get blindsided. Both Arizona and New Mexico have made major changes over the last few years to attract retirees, but they are structured very, very differently. Let's look at Arizona first. Arizona is famous for having the 2.5 flat income tax rate, which sounds incredible. Plus, they do not have tax on your Social Security income. So if you have a large conventional IRA or a 401k that you'll be drawing from, that low flat rate is highly advantageous. But let's not count out New Mexico. New Mexico also completely exempted Social Security benefits from state income tax for most retirees. So if you're a single filer making under $100,000 or a married couple making under $150,000, you pay zero New Mexico tax on your Social Security. Military retirement is also fully exempt. The catch is the gross receipts tax. That's New Mexico's version of the sales tax, and it runs between 7.5 and 9.3% depending on where you are in the state. Sales tax in Tucson, the metro runs roughly at about an 8.7%. So here's the honest truth. If Social Security is your primary income and you're under those New Mexico thresholds, New Mexico is actually more competitive than it looks on the surface. Arizona's 2.5 flat rate sounds simple, but you pay it on everything. Run your specific numbers. Both states have a meaningful advantage over California, but they're not identical. And your income mix matters. But where Las Cruces sneaks ahead is in property taxes. Arizona's property taxes are relatively modest, but New Mexico boasts some of the lowest property taxes in the entire nation, frequently under 1%. When you pair a lower purchase price with a sub 1% property tax rate, your fixed monthly housing costs in Las Cruces are going to be significantly lower year over year. Here's the honest truth. If Social Security is your primary income and you're under those New Mexico thresholds, New Mexico is actually more competitive. So really quick, I do have a free relocation guide in my description below. If you are looking at Las Cruces as your potential relocation place, I talk about the lifestyle, the neighborhoods, taxes, all the things to consider when making your move. Also, after you are done with this video, if you want to see the kinds of homes that are for sale here in Las Cruces, check out my shorts videos. I post homes that are currently on the market all the time so you guys get an idea of what you're looking at in the different price ranges. All right, let's get back to it. Round 3, the healthcare axis. Here, unfortunately, Tucson does take it. Here in Las Cruces, we have Mountain View Regional Medical Center and Memorial Hospital Health for your everyday needs. But specialists are limited. Serious or complex cases often mean you have to drive to El Paso, which is about a 45-minute drive, or in some situations up to Albuquerque, which is about 3.5-hour drive, into the University of New Mexico Hospital, which is excellent, but it is not closed, and you absolutely have to plan in advance for those types of things. Tucson has a Banner University Medical Center and is a full academic medical center. TMC Health, multiple specialty networks, healthcare costs in Tucson run about 10% below the national average. And there's a wide selection of Medicare Advantage and Medigap plans available in the market. I'm going to be straight with you on this because I think it's the most important factor people underestimate. Las Cruces has solid everyday healthcare, but Tucson has an academic medical center. So if you're over 65 and healthy, Las Cruces will work just fine. If you're 75 and managing multiple conditions, or you want to know there's a top-tier hospital within 15 minutes of your front door, Tucson has the edge, and it's not even close. El Paso is not far at all in reality. I go there especially because that's where I get to refer to for the VA, and I don't mind the drive one bit. I make a whole day of it. Another thing to consider is cost, because Las Cruces itself does not have much competition within itself, so it has a higher cost when it comes to medical care. I truly do believe that Tucson takes the win on this one, hands down. Round 4, the climate and the heat. I think Las Cruces has a slight edge. Las Cruces, the average summer highs run from like 97 to 100 degrees. We sit at 3,900 feet of elevation, which means the nights cool off more than you would expect. Over 300 sunny days a year, low humidity, and monsoon season from July through September brings brief afternoon storms that actually make the evenings beautiful. Tucson, they average the highs of 100 to about 104. The elevation is lower, about 2,400 feet, and also they see a ton of sunshine, over 300 sunny days a year as well. Now, humidity does pick up more during their monsoon season, and utilities tend to run a little bit higher because of the longer and more intense air conditioning that demand. Both of these cities are hot in the summer. There's no way around that. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. If you're heat sensitive, you need to spend a week in either city in July before you commit. But if I'm being honest, Las Cruces gets a little bit more benefit from its elevation. The nights are cooler and your electric bill reflects it. We see the cooler mornings, and we see a huge difference between the mornings and the afternoon, and then late into the evenings. I don't think that you're going to see that in a bigger city just because of the amount of build. Here we have a lot of open desert space. Round 5, the lifestyle, culture, and the amenities. And the winner just kind of depends on what you want to do. Las Cruces, this round really comes down to a gut check about what kind of lifestyle you actually want. Tucson is a mid-sized metropolis, 500,000 population in the city limits. It has a major Pac-12 university, and it's an incredible culinary scene. It's a big city infrastructure if you want Broadway shows, endless restaurant options, and a bustling energy. Tucson has it all. But it also comes with the big city problems: morning rush hours, freeway congestion, and a higher pace of life. Las Cruces, on the other hand, we're a college town of about 120,000 people in population. The phrase I hear from clients who move here often is the pace of life here is gentler. Honestly, I hear that it's boring, which most people are fine with. Rush hour here lasts about 15 minutes. It's incredibly easy to navigate. If you want the amenities of a million-person city, El Paso, Texas is just 45 minutes down the road, giving you easy access to international airport, major medical complexes, and amazing nightlife, day life, like without having to live in the middle of the noise. Plus, for outdoor enthusiasts, Las Cruces has the Organ Mountains right in its backyard. And you can escape to the cool forested mountains of Ruidoso or Cloudcroft in under 2 hours when the summer heat hits. Here's what I tell people in my relocation calls. If you need a lot of restaurants and retail therapy to feel at home, Tucson will suit you better. Las Cruces is growing fast, but it's still a small city. What it has character, it has a Southwestern culture, an incredible outdoor backyard, and a community that feels like it still knows your name. Depends on what you're retiring into, not just away from. We are only 3.5 hours away from Tucson if you really need that retail therapy. I like how quiet Las Cruces is. I like how slow Las Cruces is. And if I really need to get away for some good food, I've got El Paso right down the street. So, the verdict. Who should choose which city? Here's the bottom line. Neither city is wrong, but they serve different retirees completely. Choose Las Cruces if you want the lowest possible housing costs and cost of living overall. You're on Social Security as a primary income. You prefer a smaller city, slower city with deep cultural roots. You're active enough for outdoors that White Sands and the Organ Mountains sound like they are your backyard, and that is the type of life that you want to live. And you're comfortable with making a day trip to El Paso every so often. For anything else that you choose to have, choose Tucson if you want more city in your retirement. You have complex health needs for a strong preference for in-city specialists. You're drawing from a pension or an IRA and want the simplicity of Arizona's flat 2.5% tax rate. If you want a bigger restaurant scene or cultural options immediately available, or you're just more comfortable in a larger city, Las Cruces is absolutely not for everybody, and I understand that. If Las Cruces is on your short list and you want someone who's actually lived here for their whole life to show you and walk you through what's real and not just what looks good on Google search, but if Las Cruces is on your short list and you want someone who's actually lived here to show you and walk you through what's real and not just what looks good on a Google search, that's what I do. I specialize in relocation buyers. I know every neighborhood in the city, and I will not tell you what you want to hear if it's not true. My information to schedule a call with me is in the description. It's easy. You can email me, you can text me, and I also have a free guide to relocate here in Las Cruces. And if you're not ready for a call, that's okay. Throw all your questions in the comments and continue to watch my videos for more info into helping you make that decision. And I'll be here when you're ready.